98.3 FM, 1280 AM, WJAY. 98.3 FM, 1280 AM, WJAY.
It's getting late in the evening. It's getting late in the evening. It's getting late in the evening. Oh yeah, the sun is going down. Okay, with the song it Pastor George Woodbury, we got to cut in. All time stands 8:30. Gonna switch over to Studio B as they go into your brother Michael Jenkins.
And good morning to you, Tater. Good morning to everyone out there. David Ginwright. Yo, man, your boys got to get right, man. They ain't looking good right now. And them Cowboys getting better. Niners got to wake up, bro. I mean, not the Niners, but the Commanders got to wake up. Anyway, welcome to the program today, everyone. They say it's week 9 of the high school football season in the state of South Carolina, and things are winding down. And if you're not on that ship that's going somewhere, chances are you ain't going nowhere. Let me read you some scores real quick, and then we'll go from here. Last night, Georgetown and Ainor got a win, 42-20. And I know I talked about Georgetown. I just don't understand why Georgetown can't be better in all sports. They just have not been good in any sport, really, for a long, long time. I don't really understand why. Cheraw in Beaufort, Cheraw rolled 51-21. Sockasty over Conway, and that's another team that's fallen on hard times for years now. And that is the Conway Tigers. They're just a part of the gallery now. No significance anymore. No power anymore. They were a power team back in the day. St. James beat North Myrtle 20-17. Crestwood over Darlington 56-28. Andrews got by Burke, and I say got by. They got by 59-6 over Burke. Carvers Bay continues to roll, and they rolled over Johnsonville 33-14. Dillon Wildcats. See, I told people. Dillon had an inauspicious start to the season. They had some bumps in the road along the way. They lost to Wilson. They lost to who was it? Who else they lost to? They lost to Wilson, and they lost to Loris. So those are 2 big losses in the middle of the season, both conference foes. But Dillon seems to be quite awoke now. They beat Walcombe last night, 41-17. Marlborough County went down to Loris, and I told my buddies over in Marlborough County that this was probably not going to be a good night for them. Turns out it wasn't. Loris, 49-14 over the Bulldogs. Not a good morning in Bennettsville today. Carolina Forest continues to roll. They rolled over Myrtle Beach 51-20. You remember back in the day, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, those were the big teams down there. And then now Carolina Forest, they've been coming for a long time. And now they are here. And they pretty much own the beach. They beat Myrtle Beach, as I said, 51-20. Mullins had homecoming last night, I'm told. And they were hosting King Street, a team that's been up and down this year. But last night they were looked like more up than down. They beat Mullins last night handily, 34-14. Latta and Hannah Pamplico, the Vikings continue to roll, 51-31 over HP. Oh, boy. And for the sake of fairness, I got to read this next score, too. I wish I didn't have to. I wish it didn't exist. Manning 53, Marion nothing. That's pretty bad. West Florence, they're back on track to beat Westwood 17-7. South Florence continues to be a juggernaut. They knocked off Lower Richland in Columbia 57-7. Good morning, Ms. Williams. How are you doing today? West Columbia beat Green Sea Floyd. I don't know why they had West Columbus. So I guess Green Sea kind of scheduled this game late in the season. They could figure, hey, maybe we'll be able to steal a win here toward the end of the year. Well, no chance. West Columbus, 49, Green Sea 14. And I'm pretty sure that Green Sea right now is still winless on the season. Lamar Silver Foxes over C.A. Johnson, 53-8. PD Academy got beat by Bethesda Academy by a score of 49-0. Florence Christian, they beat somebody called NCA, which I have no idea who that is, 35-6. And so this is all skeezer stuff right here. Jefferson Davis beat the Kings 74-72 in double overtime. Lawrence Manning and Trinity 37-20. Scotland over Lumberton 48-24. South Brunswick beat Fairmont 35-18. Whoa, this is huge. Now this is mega right here. East Clarendon, the team that was currently leading the conference at class 8, 7A or whatever, they got knocked off by Atlantic Collegiate Academy last night, 12-6. That's going to send shockwaves through the conference, I believe. Also, let me take a look at let me see something here. I want to look at some other scores. But let's put that on the table for now. And let's see where our local teams are at this very moment as we head toward the playoff. Mullins' current record is 3-6 in the conference, 2-4 overall. And they have one game left. Oh, do they? Do they have one game left? Let's see. Take a look at the schedule real quick here. They should have one game left. So they only played 9. Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't see any other games on the schedule. And they've only played 9. So maybe that's right. But anyway, let's take a look at the standings real quick. And this is where the rubber meets the road. And this will determine whether you have a playoff feature or will you be playing basketball at full strength early this year. Good morning, Miss Beatty. How are you? Manning is leading the conference currently. And they're leading by 1 game over Atlantic Collegiate Academy. But I'm sure that Manning has beaten them already. I think it was a close game, too. So right now, what you have is you have a 1, 2, 3. You have a 4-way tie for second, which means somebody's going to finish third, somebody's going to finish fourth. Somebody is going to fall out of this thing right here over the next week or so. And then after that, we'll be talking about head-to-head as tiebreakers and all that. But you have Manning at 4-1, 6-3 overall. They, by the way, are the only team in the conference with a winning record. Now, that could suggest that, hey, maybe this conference is so strong, these guys are beating up on each other every week. Or it could mean this conference is soft. And when a conference turns out to be soft, that first week or two of the playoff, usually you see all those teams gone. Now, I don't know, I can't say that's the case here. Even I know Marion is not very good. That I know. Mullins, borderline okay. But ACA is in second, followed by Kingstree, East Clarendon, Lake City, Mullins, and then Marion. Marion's at 0 and 5. Mullins is at 2 and 4. Lake City is at 3 and 2. East Clarendon is at 3 and 2. Kingstree is at 3 and 2. And ACA, Atlantic Collegiate Academy, is at 3 and 2. Marvin Moody, what's up? Good morning. Beautiful day today. Now let's look at the overalls for the others. Atlantic Collegiate is 3 and 6 overall. Kingstree is 4 and 5. You know, I was wrong about how many teams are over 500, because there's East Clarendon. They have the best record in the conference overall, and they're 7 and 2. So Manning is behind them at 6 and 3. So East Clarendon is a team everyone is expecting to be pretty good this year, and turns out they are. Lake City is 3 and 6 overall. Mullins is 3 and 6 overall, and the Swamp Foxes, unfortunately, are winless after 9 games. So that's where that's at. Let's take a look a little deeper into what Mullins has done this year. Kind of like give a little statistical analysis of what they have done. And here are some stats. Okay. Well, the quarterback seems to be the big story for them. That's Kanazian Bethea. And he's had a good year throwing the ball. He's getting about 110 yards a game. Oh, that's rushing. He's rushing for 110 yards a game. It's not bad. Tyrone Allen is rushing for about 43, and you have Anthony Campbell at 22. Total touchdowns, Amir Lee. This guy's a baller too. Basketball player. He's got 7 touchdowns. Kanazian is second with 6, and then Tyron Allen is got 4 touchdowns this year. Leading tackle is Andre Littlejohn. He's got 10.1. Nathan Poraki, 9.5. And Antoine Crawford, 6.3. Antoine Crawford leads the team in sacks with 2. And interceptions, Deion Ford, he's got 4 interceptions. It's kind of amazing. 2 basketball players. Deion Ford is first in interceptions. Dakari Worley is second. Is third with 2 interceptions. So, passing touchdowns, the quarterback Kanazian's got 13. Deion's got 2 touchdown passes too. Wow. Receiving touchdowns, 7 for Amir Lee. Keith Bridget has got 3. Jalen Mills has got 2. Rushing touchdowns, Kanazian leads with 6. And he's followed by Tyron with 4 and Anthony Campbell with 1. So those are some of your stats there for Mullins. Let me take a look at, I want to see the differential between themselves. And they're not showing me this here. Okay. Whatever. So that's Mullins' story. I don't know that they make the playoffs this year. I don't know how many teams are getting in. I think you can pretty much guarantee or say that Marion will not be in the playoffs this year. Because if they are at 0 and 5, makes you wonder what kind of playoffs we're going to have. This is not the year a few years ago where everybody got in, which was crazy. But, well, you know what? Let me see if I can take a look at the playoff, how many teams get in. Let's take a look at 2A, and let's see how many teams are actually going to get in the playoffs from each conference. And I'm sure that's going to vary. But just panning down here, I don't see no 6 seeds in there. But I do see a 5 seed, which that's where Mullins would live. Region 7, Mullins in 5th place. That would put them in the playoff. Let's see. But like I said, there's no provisions this year for 6th place teams. So Mullins will have, chances are, will have an opportunity, to play bonus football. So let's go over here for a second. There's some teams that I have been looking at and I've been hearing about out there in the state. Like, for instance, in Single A. There's a team by the name of Bamberg Earhart. See, I thought that Abbeville was the consensus team in Single A. I thought that they would be the team to beat. But apparently, as good as they appear to be, everybody ain't buying them. People are thinking the name that most came up was Bamberg Earhart and Cross. That those would be the teams that chances are going to win in Class A this year. But Cross, East Clarendon, and we cannot leave out Carvers Bay. Carvers Bay has been they've been rolling all year. So let's take a look and see right now who is where in that Single A classification, because people are expecting it to be a dogfight. And they're expecting it to come down to one of those 3 teams at the very least. So we'll see what the old computer says here. Filter, South Carolina Association. And we're going to select Association. Well, let's see. What do I call classification? And then we'll go to Class A. Okay. Abbeville, according to Max Prep, and no one really has a lot of respect for Max Prep. What's going on, Carolina Thunder? Abbeville is ranked number 1. Bamberg is ranked number 2. Carvers Bay is 3. Those are the 3 that I just mentioned. Now, they got Cross further down here, but I don't think anybody's sleeping on Cross. Then you got Lamar in there. So your top 10 is Abbeville, Bamberg, Earhart, Carvers Bay, Ware Shoals, Lamar, Louisville is 6, Cross is 7, Johnsonville 8. And Johnsonville just got took care of last night. So they're going to drop. And then you got Hunter Kennard Tyler, a team that also has to be reckoned with. And then there's Ladder. Ladder's in the top 10. Just outside of the top 10 is Lakeview Wildgators. They are at 12 behind Dixie. Then you have Scotts Branch and Hannah Pamplico. More local teams still in the mix. That's like 4 or 5 local teams in the first 14, first 15 of Class Single A. So, but let's take a look and see what Bamberg Earhart has done. Right now, they're sitting at 9-0 overall, 3-0 in the conference. And they've been beating people up this year. So I understand why people are excited about them. Because when I started looking at their stats and stuff, I started getting a little excited too. Well, their most recent game, when was the 23rd? Was that yesterday? the 23rd yesterday, or was it the day before? Either way,
Last Thursday.
Thursday. This was a Thursday game.
Yeah.
And Bamberg Earhart took the liberty of putting 70 points on the board against Allendale Fairfax, beating them 70-0. Let's recap their season a little bit. First game of the season, they beat Edisto 42-8. Second game, Buford went down 53-6. Barnwell was the next victim in a close one, 29-14. Then they shut out Calhoun County 48-0 before blasting Woodland 48-7. And get this, for the next next 4 games, they scored at least 60 points against their opponent. They beat Hunter Kennard Tyler 62-8. They beat Hardyville 64-6. They beat Ridgeland something, RSAOE, 60-0 before the Allendale Fairfax thing, which they beat them 70-0. They have one more game to play next week against Denmark Olar. Now, Cross has been solid all year round as well. They are at 8-1, 5-0 in the conference, and they are first in their conference. They beat Bethune-Bowman last night, 66-14. So everyone is telling me Cross is ready. I'm starting to believe them now. I'm starting to see that these guys are pretty good. Standing. Let's take a look at the standings right now. And this is Region 5. And Cross right now sits atop Region 5. As I said, they won 6 in a row, too. They've scored 233 points, and they've only given up 36. Let's see who they lost to. So they got the one loss. It's probably a bigger school. Let's see. Okay. So Cross, they shut out Calhoun County in their first game. They beat North Central 37-6. They lost to Timberland. You know what's weird about this is that Timberland and Cross are in the same vicinity. St. Stephen's, Cross, all around the same area right there. A few miles outside of Utahville on the way to Charleston. But this is a rivalry game right here. And for Timberland to come away with a win against Cross, with Cross flying high as they are, I'm sure there's a lot of people not happy down there in Crossville, if there's such a thing. So, but that would be, let's see, after that game, they beat Lake Marion 20-6. They beat MMA 51-0. They beat Branchville 36-8. St. John's went down to them 42-0. Scotch Branch was not a real problem, 38-14. Bethune-Bowman, they beat them, as I said last night, 66-14. You know what? I've got my own poll this week, and I'm going to just read it because I think it's a good idea. That's why. Anyway, this is the PD Sports Wrap. Maybe I should rename it. The PD Sports Wrap Elite 5. Nah, that doesn't sound good. Anyway, we'll just keep it Sports Wrap Top 5. And at the top of the list is, predictably, South Florence Bruins. The Bruins they've been those guys this year. I mean, and they are probably going to go back to state again. And this time they'll probably win. They should have won last year. Should have won their second in a row, but it didn't happen. Brandon Page, what's up, buddy? As we speak, South Florence sits at 8-1. They're 5-0 in the conference. They're ranked overall number 6 in the state. Let me see. what they've done this year, who they've polished off, and they polished off everybody but one. They started the season against their rival West Florence. They beat them 37-6. They nipped Somerville in overtime, 22-21, before falling handily to Northwestern, 55-35. They beat FDHS. Who's FDHS? FDHS is Fort Dorchester. Okay. So Fort Dorchester. Oh man, that's one of those relatively new schools down there in Charleston area. But come on, man, 65-7, Fort Dorchester. Really? All the people you got running around in that school? This the best you can do? I mean, you should be dominating, but I digress. South Florence rolled over them. Then they took Crestwood, 42-0. Darlington was easy, 57-6. Lakewood was easy, 49-0. Wilson was easy, 35-7. Lower Richland, still easy, 57-7. So looking forward, now this is going to be a big one this week. It's going to be a big one, folks. You know why? Because the Hartsville Red Foxes are standing in the way of South Florence completing a wonderful season. Last night, Hartsville beat Lakewood 51-0. So Hartsville said, you know what? Y'all been kind of laughing at us this year a little bit. Y'all thought after those first stumbles that we had that we were not going to be good. But we are Red Fox Nation. I believe in Red Fox Nation. There ain't the kind of program to sleep on in any sport. I'm telling you, I've seen it for years. Now, when the season started, Hartsville dropped the first two games. Carolina Forest beat them 55-33. And that's nothing to be, to thumb your nose at, because Carolina Forest is pretty good. They're really good. They lost that one, and then they went to Camden. 41-31, Camden knocked them off. Next game was Rock Hill. They went up there, spanked Rock Hill 56-38, and then got hammered by Dillon, 62-35. Good morning, Miss White. How are you? Thanks for joining. Wilson. Okay, so 27-21, they beat Wilson. They hammered Lower Richland, but everybody's kind of doing that. 55-30. Crestwood, they beat them 34-21. Darlington 45-24, and then Lakewood last night. So 2, 4, 5. They won 6 out of their last 7 to put themselves in position here to make a run. And from the looks of things right now, I haven't seen them, but from the looks of things, them cats might be ready to make a run. Let's look at the standings for the Region 5. And wouldn't you know it, South Florence is right on the heel. Hartsville is right on the heels with South Florence. They're both tied at 5-0 in the region. Hartsville is at 6-3 overall. And then they're followed by Lower Richland, Wilson, Crestwood, Darlington, and Lakewood. Tater's over here giving me the 2 fingers like, time's running out, buddy. Wrap it up. Okay. Gamecocks and Clemson both look shaky. That game between the two of them, Thanksgiving weekend, is probably going to be the last we ever hear from either one of them this year, because I don't think that they're going to be in for no bowl of significance. NBA got started this week, got off with a bang. People were talking about the Western Conference and how tough it's going to be. They had three or four overtime games this week, so it's going to be rough. The Philadelphia Eagles have recovered, and they seem to be on their way back. The Ravens are struggling still at 1-5, I believe, and they can't get right. Lambjack hasn't played the whole year. They're in trouble, and if he don't get right real soon, they're gonna be done. The Jets can't get right; they can't score. The Dolphins still can't score. A lot of quarterback injuries around the league, and the Cowboys look good. See, I had to put it out there. The Cowboys look good. I'm hoping they don't continue to look good, but right now, Pokes look good. Anyway, folks, that's all the time I have. I'll be back next week with more. Thanks for joining me this morning. Come back again later.
She'd always come to me and say,
Oh, they did
"Son,
win,
you
Brandon?
yet holding on?"
I thought they. Oh, it must have been the year before they
And I
lost.
said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm
Okay.
yet holding on." She said, "Well, keep on."